Welcome back to the channel. This week I am going to make a dish. This is not a keto dish. This is a dish that a dear old friend of mine used to make, and she called it tomato gravy. And I did not have the recipe, and I went on to, I asked Grok and gave the information that I knew about it, and Grok came up with what I believe, the best of my memory, is the recipe for this tomato gravy. So you start with a 2.5 pound of beef. This is a tip roast, I believe. I'm going to sear it on all sides, and then I am going to take some diced onions, and I'm also going to mince up some of this garlic back here. And we're going to put that in the pan and add flour, which is not the keto part. And we're going to make a roux. And from there we add some various spices, clove, paprika. I had to buy some sweet Italian, Hungarian paprika. There's a couple other spices which I'll tell you as I go along. I don't have the recipe in front of me. And that's what we're going to do this week. And I'm hoping it tastes as spectacular as hers did. Alright, I've got this seared. This is actually a tipped sirloin roast. And I'm going to take this out. I've made some beef stock. That's in the mess in the microwave. And now I'm going to make the roux, which I'm going to use butter, flour, and the diced onions and garlic, and I'm going to cook all that until golden. This is the recipe in case you're make the roux. I am going to I used 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of flour. Letting the butter melt. This has to be on lower heat, and then we'll mix that in and let that cook for a little bit until it gets kind of golden brown. We don't want that flour taste. The recipe I'm following also suggested to put the onions in at this time and the garlic, and to go ahead and cook those together until golden. All right, as my roux is cooking, I just want to mention that it does call for a splash of the beef broth. So I did throw some in here to kind of deglaze just a little bit. So I'm going to let that cook. Then I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of cloves. I've got ground cloves here. And, 2 teaspoons of the Hungarian paprika. Then a 1/2 teaspoon of the clove. Then I am going to use 2 cans of this tomato puree. It did call for crushed tomatoes, but I remember her sauce being very smooth, although the recipe does say that you can smooth it up at the end. So it also says then you can put in some beef broth. So after my onions are done cooking till golden, I'm going to add those items. And then I will put the roast back in. This will go down to a low heat. Let's see, on a low heat. You could put it in the oven too if you wanted to. And said to cook it for 4 to 6 hours. As I recall, she cooked hers for 6. And meat should be able to be shredded with a fork. However, she never shredded hers. She always cut hers. So maybe I'll go in between 4 and 6 and just do 5. So I'll let you know in the end. Just an FYI, these are both 28-ounce cans of the puree. And I'm also going to add 2 bay leaves because my bay leaves are kind of small. All right, the meat is nestled down inside of my Dutch oven. I'm going to put the lid on and let this go for 5 hours. All right, we're going to make another new recipe today. We're going to use this Elevate protein flour. This is from the Keto Twins YouTube channel. And we're going to make a tempura batter. And we are going to make some chicken tenders, some broccoli, and if I get spunky, I will slice up this zucchini and have a few pieces of that. But we're going to deep fry these chicken tenders. But first we're going to do the broccoli, then the zucchini, and now I'm going to make the tempura sauce. Actually, it's tempura batter. So it's going to be half a cup of this protein powder and 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Then, don't judge me, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Apparently this is the secret ingredient for making it crispy. Pinch of salt. And then we have to use super duper cold club soda, about half a cup-ish of club soda. That was a half a cup of the club soda, and they did say it could be a little thickish, so you could add a little bit more, so I'm going to get some more. That was an additional 1/4 cup-ish. That looks pretty thin, as they described. So they also said that for the zucchini, which I did slice up, you might want to pre-dip them in some of the powder, the flour, and then put them in the tempura, and then put them in the oil. Starting with the broccoli. The ladies mentioned, making sure the top part got in the oil also. So far I'm not seeing where that's really staying on the broccoli that well, so not really excited about that. I've got the timer on for 3 minutes. We'll see. So far I am wholly unimpressed. These 2 zucchinis, I went ahead and dredged in some just of the Elevate flour and then put it into the deep fryer, and we'll see if that helps it or not. I did the same thing with the broccoli. It seems to me on the broccoli, the tempura sauce is just coming right off. The zucchinis, the first 2 I put in, seem to be holding up well, so we'll see if they actually are crispy. That second broccoli I put in is doing better. I put 2 more pieces in and 2 more pieces of zucchini, so again, we'll see. Okay, I'm leaving the second batch a little thicker. Maybe that will stick to the chicken better. So far, this 1 piece of chicken, not impressed. All right, the next ones that came out are crispy looking, so we'll see how they taste. All in all, the chicken is pretty crunchy. We'll see how the broccoli is. The zucchini got very crunchy, so for the trouble it is to go through, probably won't make it again. Okay, haven't tried it yet. What does the husband think?
I'd try it again.
He would try it again. Too much trouble. Chicken is tender. The zucchinis were crisp. The broccoli, get a little of this ranch dressing I made. Broccoli's okay. All of it has a good flavor.